Good morning, everybody. John Pryor here from Exalt IP with the IP Short series. What I want to talk to you about today is online. If you're a service business or a product business, whether you realize it or not, all your customers are looking at you online 90% of the time. What that means is that you need to be thinking about protecting your business, your brand, your reputation, but also, very importantly, your customer online, protecting them against online harms. And in order to do that, there's one important thing you need to remember, and that is to think like your customer. Because your customer is doing they're searching for you online, so that's kind of outbound from their side, and then they're receiving stuff inbound, and they're looking at it online. So first and foremost, if you're looking to protect your customer or your business or your reputation or your brand online, think like your customer does. So probably the first and most important thing is to use a search engine to see how your client sees your business using search engines. It's really important, therefore, that you have some way of tracking how your clients, customers, consumers are looking for you using search engines. Everything starts with a search. Think about it when you're looking to learn about a business or a new area. If you're like me, you'll probably go onto Google or Safari or Bing and start to search. So, therefore, if you want to know what your customers are seeing about your business, get searching. You can actually engage a service that does that for you. And what's most important with that kind of service is that they look from the local perspective. So many of these services will be run out of the United States. And so they're getting a Google search from the United States. If your customers are based in London, Paris, or Stockholm, you're not seeing what they see, and you're not seeing it in their language either. So search like a local, really, really important to get the sense of what your customers are finding out about you and or are being misled about you. What else is out there that they're looking at and reading about, thinking they're learning about your business, when in actual fact, it's somebody trying to dupe them, defraud them, phish them, scam them into thinking they're dealing with your business, but actually it's somebody else. So point number one, I think like your customer, is look at what happens when they're searching, and when they're searching from a local perspective in their own language. Number one. Number two, what is your client receiving inbound? In many cases, these will be emails or connected to emails, or just about in every case, they will be diverted to a website. Now, you can't track every single website, you can't search for every single website. But a shortcut to tracking and checking here is to look at the domain name registrations, so the URLs, the internet addresses that have been registered or are being registered, have been registered recently, using your brand, your business name, your trademark, or something similar. So I've been blogging this week a lot about clone websites. Particular one that comes to mind is Goldman Sachs retail banking business called Marcus. And they had an identical website that was basically sending customers, Goldman Sachs, Marcus customers, over to this cloned website to try and, of course, defraud, get money from them. At great expense, great damage to the reputation of Goldman Sachs and Marcus. Tracking what's been registered as a domain name or an internet address, URL, etc., therefore is really important, because you will then find that Marcus would have then found that there was a derivative of Marcus being registered online. For the FCA, it was simple as fca.com, and the fraudsters had registered something like fca.org. One policy for businesses like FCA is to register as many of those URLs as possible, so you've got a sort of protective wall. The next policy should be to track what's being registered. What's been registered in your name or something similar. So those two things, think like your customer, are really important. So look at Google search, not just Google search, any search, and look at what domain names are being registered. These are two simple things, but very, very powerful. And if you think like your customer with those two things, you will go a long way to protecting your business, your reputation, your brand, your revenues, but most importantly, your customer.